All right, cool. So today we're gonna start off where y'all left off at, like the projects in the course. Do y'all remember which one y'all left off with? Like um y'all already did password generator. Um did y'all get this
I don't
far?
think so.
Yeah, I
I know
don't
we
think
did the
we
tip
did that. I think we
calculator.
did
Yeah,
the
Yep.
yeah.
Tip. Okay. All right. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. We going to yeah. I think password generator is a good one. Um, yeah, password generator. I'm going to download this and drop this in the Slack so that y'all don't have to go through it. And I guess y'all can pick somebody to share your screen. And let me just also quickly go through the demo. Yeah, I thought we was further than this. For some reason, I don't know why I thought we was further than this. But we're gonna start skipping a few. Obviously, we skipping this one, color psychology. We don't really need that, to be honest. And the only reason we doing actually let's skip password generator too. We don't need that one. Um, we don't need Breaking Bad. We don't need that one. Um, memory game. I think the memory game is a good one, actually. So we're gonna do memory game, and then on Sunday we're gonna do um we're gonna do these two, the joke app and the Pokedex. Um yeah, so just to give y'all okay, so we're gonna today we're gonna do memory game. And then we're gonna skip all of these. And I want y'all to still go through the course though and like see how these projects are done. And honestly, the only reason we skipping these is because like y'all been doing Code Wars. So a lot of this is just trying to get your chops or whatever, trying to make sure y'all use functions the right way, variables the right way, and just to get your mind going. I still want y'all to go through this if y'all didn't already do it in the course. Um, but then on Sunday, we're gonna work on these. We're gonna work on these. Actually, we're gonna do Pokedex and Crud Store, and then we're gonna end off with the battle game. So these last three. Um, yeah, and make sure y'all go through the other ones because I don't want y'all to get confused with anything. And this battle game, this is actually gonna probably take like 2 days to go through, or it really just depends because it is involved. But let me download. Let me quickly delete these. I'm gonna download the memory game and I'm gonna drop it in the Slack. Uh, Memory game here. So starter, and I'm gonna download the complete so I can show y'all how this runs. Okay, it's just complete. So basically, if you haven't already seen the app, just open it up, and this is the memory game here. You click the start button, and then there's some directions here. You click that, and then you wait for the computer to highlight one of these squares. It highlighted this one, so I'm going to click it. Increments by one. Did this one twice. Increments by one again. So on and so forth. Y'all can brainstorm different ways to do this. And like yeah, just decide who wants to share the screen. And obviously, if you click away, right now it says 4. If you click away, it saves 4 in local storage. It compares the previous high score, which is saved in local storage, which may or may not be saved in local storage. And then if there is one, you compare it to that, and if it's higher, you set this to the you set the new score in local storage, and then this displays from local storage. So we can see that memory game uh, MG high score is 4 here. So yeah, um, this may take us more than just today. It may take us to Sunday. We'll see. I'll stop sharing. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna go through all of those 4 projects, and then we're gonna go right to React. And to be honest, we may even skip one of those projects. So because I want y'all to have like enough time with React. especially now that y'all been going through these cold wars, I think y'all would pick it up quickly. So, so who wants to share their screen? And obviously, the person that shared their screen uh, only have to turn in 2 cold wars problems before sundown. So,
Damn, I'm on my phone.
Anybody else?
I'm on the phone at the moment.
I'm down, but you know, I don't.
All right, this is what I'm gonna do. We'll mix it up a little bit. I'm going to. I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna have y'all walk me through what to do.
Nice.
Share my screen. Cool. So I'm open up the starter. And y'all can just direct me. That's cool. I feel like I haven't opened up this in a long time. I literally have not opened this up in a long time.
That's low.
Memory.js. Okay, I ain't know the file name. Okay, it's empty, obviously. All right, so I'm opening this up in the browser too. This one. So let me just do this. I'm gonna work on this. So this is the starting. So this one don't work. Right now, it's set up so that like nothing happens. Obviously, you know, you can't really click this button at all. There is no high score set anywhere. Actually, let me clear that from local. I feel like it might be in local storage somewhere. Clear that. But obviously, we're not referencing the value. And actually, let's start with it. I'll just leave this here. All right, so right now it says 0, right? Now, what we want to do is as soon as we load like this, as soon as this page like refreshes, we want to pick up that number from local storage and we want to put it here on this 0 right here. Like anybody have ideas about how we can do that? Here's my VS Code. I didn't put it. Okay. So here I am with the blank file. Since I'm gonna increase this. I guess the first question I should ask, how do you pull something from local storage? What do you use to do that?
Local storage dot. I forgot exactly what dot get item. There you go.
Get item.
Cool. So what do I put here for the first parameter?
What are we pulling from local storage? High score?
This here.
Oh, MG high score.
So MG high score. There.
Give me that.
All right, cool. So that's that. Let me just put, let's see, high score. We're probably doing this different than how I did it in the course, but it's better this way, honestly, because there's a million ways. There's a bunch of different ways to do the same thing. So, and to be honest, what I'm thinking is, all right. So let's actually console log this to make sure we did this the right way. So high score, right? Save that. Go here. I'm just straight refresh from here. Refresh, and we got 4 here. And honestly, just to make that a little bit more clear, do some destructuring. I mean, not destructuring, some a template string. Okay. High score.
No,
is
but can you go back on how you got MG high score as what you trying to pull on?
yeah. So let me make this a little bigger. So we know that we in order to get something out of local storage, we had to use this local
Get,
storage
mm,
get item, and then we just use the name that was already there. So that name is here, MG high score.
oh, okay. Gotcha.
So that's how we get items out. And we just logged it. So I'm gonna make some improvements like on like the actual code in the course. So anytime you want to like grab something, you want to use like a function like a getter, like something called a getter. There's these things in coding. They're called like getters and setters. This is a getter. We want to get something. A setter would be set item. That's setting it to something or whatever. This is a setter. And y'all gonna hear those, y'all gonna hear those terminologies, getters and setters. Getters get things, setters set things. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna create a get high score, get high score. And this is just gonna be a function that returns the high score. So anytime I want to get the high score, that's the function I'm gonna call. And obviously I'm using this shorthand because I'm doing the arrow, I'm using the arrow function. So get high score gives me the high score, and I can just literally console log that. Get high score, and I'll do the same thing I did last time with the template string. Sign. Save that. Go here and refresh. Same thing. We're still getting high score. Y'all always want to test your functions when y'all do stuff like this. The reason I was thinking to make it to a function is because we may need to get this high score like multiple times. And whenever you want to get something multiple times, you want to turn to a function just to make your life easier. You can always get it with this. So that's
So,
that. Mhm.
question: if I stored it as a variable, like get high score as a variable, then what's the difference?
Like if it wasn't a function,
Right.
like
So
if it's
it
just
was
like
just a
that,
variable get high score.
right? So if it's just get high score, it's fine that way. Also, like there's no difference, but I mean the only real difference is that us you're breaking up a little bit, Samuel. Um, but yeah, the only difference is that like so when we make it a function, right? It doesn't waste like it doesn't waste like memory,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, I
get
said there will be more code.
it was clear and it start breaking up again. I don't know if you can put it in the chat. Um, you probably was going to say the same thing I'm saying though. But yeah, you don't have to waste time getting it unless you need it. You don't because as soon as we do local storage like this, now JavaScript has to go and get the local storage. Like it doesn't move on to the next line until this line is executed. And us putting it as a function, it's not going to be executed. And then but yeah, that's the only real difference, to be honest. It's really up to you.
So every time if I put it in a variable, every time I call it, then it has to re-go and retrieve it.
Well,
Every,
not necessarily. So and actually you kind of bring up a good point when you said that. I'm like arguing with myself. It's probably better. So what I'm thinking is all right, it's better. I just thought of a reason why it's better as a function. So I'm gonna take you through my thought process. Your question was, if you set as a variable, does it have to always go back and retrieve it, right? Now, no, it doesn't, because once it's set in a variable, it's set, and you're just referencing the same location. But the variable is constant. it's never going to change. So now whenever you want to get the local store, now when you set it as a variable, it's going to be set to that value. But if I change it, if I change this after, sometime after this variable is not going to be right anymore because now it saved the older version of local storage. Of the,
So it's not dynamic.
right, exactly. But I'm glad you asked the question because like I kind of like instinctively put things into functions and I don't really think too much about it, but it's good to like really break that down. So yeah, it's definitely better to put in a function because you always get the updated value. So yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that makes sense.
So now that we got that, let's see. Now we got to actually set this value to that number. Let me put this actually side by side. Let's do this. Okay. All right. So we'll grab this, and obviously, whenever we want to, how do we set the value? How do we reset this to 0? We know that value is here inside of this div here.
Get
just
element
said-
by ID.
Right.
First, we got to access using that.
So document dot get element by ID, and the ID is MG score. And then how do we set it to like this number here, like whatever we get from here?
Inner text.
Say it again. What was it?
So you can do
Inner text.
yeah.
Right, exactly. Yep, inner text. So we're gonna do dot inner text equals whatever we get from this. Now I'm about to refactor even more. Actually, let's test this out first. Let's see if this works. So I'm gonna refresh and let's see, open this up, and now it's 4. So it's working. But I'm about to refactor this. Whenever I code and like making apps or whatever, like I never want to, like I want to avoid putting code there without it actually being inside of a function. Like I want to control when that function is going to be called. So I'm going to create a function called set high score. And inside of here, we're going to do this. This is where we're going to set the high score. And obviously, we'll test that out. We'll call it, refresh, and it still works. So now we got a function to set the high score. So we got 2 functions. We got one function to get the high score, and then we got another function to set the high score, getter, and then I guess this is technically a setter. And notice how I'm naming these: get high score, set high score. This is like convention. Like people use these naming conventions to describe what the function is doing. So, all right, so that is that. I'm not going to add comments.
So you gotta call that function when you want it to work now.
Right,
So
exactly. So
you
what I
always wanted to.
yeah,
okay.
go ahead. You can.
I was gonna say, so you always wanted to set pretty much at the beginning of the program. So get the high score, and then you're gonna run set high score. Most likely, if you wanted to just run that, then I'm pretty sure you would just set high score with the parentheses on there. Then you're good to go with the semicolon at the end, and that's good to go. But you probably gonna throw it in another function and throw some hot sauce on it and make it spicy. So
No, I'm
watch.
I'll leave it here. I was actually just gonna put it all the way, like, actually, no. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it in another function. Actually, you're right. That's what I'm gonna do. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna name, so what I'm thinking is whenever we go through this whole thing here, like we're gonna be setting up like some variables like some stuff to keep track of which stuff was clicked, and like it's just gonna be a bunch of stuff that we have to track. Every time we come back to this home screen, let's just call this the home screen here, where it just says memory game, we got to reset everything. So what I'm thinking is, we're going to create a function called reset. And inside of that, we're going to set the highest score. And we're going to do a bunch of other stuff in here too. But this is just one of the things we're going to do. When at first load, we're going to reset the memory game. And I'm just going to say reset MG because I don't want this. I'm not sure if I use this name somewhere else in the app. So I'm trying to keep it specific to this file. So as soon as we refresh, it's going to reset and it's going to set the high score along with some other stuff that we're going to put in there. But that's how we want to do it. Let me see if there's anything in the chat. Okay. Say outer text. That's funny. Yeah. So next, let me just refresh, and obviously it's still going to be it's going to be set because we ran that function. So now we want to get this start button to work. We want to click this and we want to have something happen to it. So how do we do that? Like any ideas of how to make this clickable?
I can use the onClick method.
Yeah.
You can get the element by ID again, and then use the onClick.
Right. So, okay, so the onClick is already there. Actually, I didn't know. So this is that element right here. I'm seeing that it has the onClick, and that onClick is here. Show MG directions. Now, if I go to console and I keep clicking that, I'm getting this error right here because it says uncalled error. Show MG directions is not defined. So we want to define that. It looks like I forgot the click event was already set up. So we want to create that function. Then I'll just log clicked start button just to be sure, everything works properly. Do a refresh. Okay, so click start button, that works. All right, cool. So let's take a look at some of this CSS. I mean, some of the HTML, because that's going to come into play. Memory game. Okay, so let me zoom out a little bit on here. All right, so inside of the HTML, we got this comment here. This is where the memory game HTML starts, and it ends here because this is where the tic-tac-toe begins. So there's a few things here, and obviously not everything is like showing right now. This one is not showing on the screen, and if we look at the CSS, we can tell that let's see, we can see here that it's not displaying because it has this attribute of no display. And if y'all didn't already go through the CSS for this, in order, like if you wanted to target something by attribute, you can put it inside of square brackets and then put the attribute name, and anything with that attribute is going to have these CSS rules applied to it. Y'all can see this in a CSS file also. Let me just show y'all. No, CSS. So I just do this. We can see it here. So anything with this no display attribute has a display of none. And this important flag. This important flag, it just overwrites everything. So it's gonna be removed. So we can see that this is not here because of this CSS rule right here. And we can see that this one has that same no display attribute, which is why this is not shown either. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just play around with this. I'm gonna remove this here straight from there. And we can see that once we remove that, now what's here is the actual game board. So that's the game board right there. This is still here as well. And this is something I want you to notice too. This home screen is still here, but you can see that it's highlighting over whack-a-mole. That's because it's inside of this parent right here, but this parent has a CSS rule on it, and it's overflow hidden. What this does is anything outside of its parent, box is not going to show. So as soon as we move outside of that, and this is pushed down because this is on top of that. Does that make sense? So let me
Yeah, I'm done.
so let me actually put this no display attribute back on here. Let's put that back, and I'm gonna put it on this home screen here as well. So what we want to do whenever we click that button, we want to put this no display attribute on the home screen, and we want to remove it from here because this is the directions. It says click the sequence of highlighted boxes, each round, click to play. So let me get these IDs, and y'all are going to tell me what I should do with that. The home screen ID is here. Let me just put that here for reference. And the ID for the directions is here. Right. Let me just do a refresh. So it should be refreshed. So what do I do with that? Like how do I use that information to swap those CSS classes, those HTML attributes? How do I add an HTML attribute to like an HTML element?
You can
How do I
use
remove
the
one?
set attribute function.
The what? What was it?
You
Set attribute.
Right.
Set
736. Let me see if we can run through this quickly. So I'll create another function like I've been doing, and I'll just say remove no display attribute. Actually, I think I did this toggle attribute. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna get a little fancy. I'm gonna give it an ID. And the reason I'm going through this is because I want to hurry up and get this done today. So I'm gonna try to fly through this. I'm gonna give this an ID. I'm gonna check to see if it has that, what was it? No display. If it
Yeah,
has
no display.
display. If it does have it, we're gonna remove it. If it does not have it, we're gonna add it. So this is gonna serve as two purposes. So I'll just say element, and obviously we'll just do the document.get element by ID because we passed in an ID as the parameter, and then we're gonna check to see if it has the attribute. So we'll say has attribute, and move this out of the way. As you can see from the description here at the bottom, it says element that has attribute. These colons, this means that it's going to return whatever's after that. So this returns a Boolean. So this gives us back a Boolean if it has an attribute. I'm going to click that, and we can even see it here. This is description. Returns true if element has an attribute whose qualified name is a qualified name, and false otherwise. So we got to pass in the actual attribute that we're checking for, which is this here, no display. So we'll say has attribute. So if has attribute, we'll say element dot remove attribute, and obviously that's the other one. We want to remove this attribute here, and I'm about to do some refactoring also. Else, we want to say element dot set attribute, because if it does not have it, we want to add it on there. I'm about to slim this down too. So let's actually test this out quick before I refactor this. I'm gonna just call this. Actually, let's call this inside of this, because this is where we press the button, and I'll pass in the home screen here. So that's the idea of the home screen. So I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna test this out. Just do a refresh. Open that up, and as soon as I press start, nothing happens. I get an error actually, and that's why I test my code. So element 2, is it set attribute? Okay, set attribute requires 2 parameters, of course. Yeah, and it says it here too. So qualified name and a value. We don't want to set to anything, so I'm gonna just put an empty string here. So I'm gonna save this, refresh, and let's press start, and that removes it. So that did what it was gonna do. And obviously we gotta test the other case as well. But for now, it's fine. I'm gonna slim this down. Now, the first thing I'm noticing is that I'm using all of these strings. These strings are the exact same name. I never, ever want to use the same string name if it's not inside of a variable. And something I didn't put in the course that I should have put is every time you have like constants like this, like values that's never going to change, you want to capitalize this like this. This is convention here. All constants get capital letters, and this tells us that this is a constant and it's never going to change. So no display. I'm gonna reference it with this variable name.
So things like empty arrays that you're gonna push into, I wouldn't capitalize the name of that.
No,
Because it's gonna
I
change.
had direct that. Right, yeah, just think only strings, numbers, just strings and numbers. That's
Okay,
that's
true
the-
constants.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay.
Not like arrays or anything like that. Yeah, thank you for asking that. Let me get rid of that. So I'm using that for that. And another thing for me to slim this down is I'm looking at this if else statement. It's only doing 2 things. So obviously we can convert that to, anybody want to call it out? What is it called?
The shorthand if statement.
Yeah, it's called a ternary it's called ternary if statement, something like that. No, I don't even know the name. I feel like it's called ternary. But either way, this is it.
Don't forget that extra. Yep.
Yeah. And this is going on another line. So I'm gonna just drop it down here. I mean, you don't normally have to do it like this. Actually, I'm just gonna keep it on the same line. I think it's fine. It's just wrapping around. So if true, we do this. If false, we do that. So if there's anything else I can do to slim this down, honestly, I think I'm good. This is probably the most I'm gonna be able to do this without getting too crazy. So start, obviously it still works. Okay, cool. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. We don't need that in there. And while we're at it, I know we're going to use this variable eventually somewhere. So I'm going to put that in a constant as well. I'm about to capitalize this. MG screen. So anytime we use that, that's what we're going to use. 743. Just quickly test that. Press start. All right, cool. That still works. So now that we know that gets removed, we're going to toggle it and bring in the actual directions, which is here. So we'll put this in a variable as well, like that. And obviously, I'm going to capitalize it. So this is MG directions.
There's no shortcut to capitalize letters in VS Code.
It might be actually. I'm pretty sure they're if it's not in there, I'm pretty sure somebody probably created it, because stuff like that normally people just like create.
Yeah.
I might have to look into that because this is something I do a lot. So so yeah, I'm gonna just toggle the directions because the directions already have the that no display attribute. So let me hold on. Did I do that right way? Yeah, I did. And I'm gonna update this too real quick. I'm about to refactor that again. But let me just press this and press start. And we got the directions here. Cool. So another thing I want to update is this says toggle attribute. Like we want to make this as general as possible. We don't want to be specific. We only toggle right now. We're only toggling whatever no display is, but we want to pass it as a parameter. That the attribute that we want to toggle is going to be here. So we'll pass that here and here so that we can use this function multiple times. I'm not even sure if this is already inside of the util.js folder, but this is supposed to be inside of the util folder. I mean file here. Util, it is already there. It's already there. Okay, we already have it here, and it's obvious, and is actually has this extra parameter as well. But it's good that we did it. It's still good that we created it. I'm just going to delete it because we already have it. And obviously it's kind of weird actually that it's letting me create the same variable twice. I feel like there might be an error somewhere. How is that even possible?
Oh yeah, attribute is missing a T
Say it-
towards the end.
say it again.
Attribute was missing a T towards the end.
Attribute.
So it's
Yeah,
Hold on.
That's
yeah,
attribute.
on your
Yours is
on what we did
attribute.
today.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Yep, I messed that up.
The importance of copying and pasting.
Right. Yep. Yep. And the reason I put it here and highlighted is because if this was like that for the T, it would highlight. And that's one of the shortcuts I use. But yeah, I'm about to just delete this whole thing because we already got it. But it's good that we saw it anyway. And this is somewhat of an improvement. And we're about to actually turn this to the other one. We're gonna do this just like we did before. Actually, I put that. I wasn't supposed to put this here. Let's get rid of that. This extra one here, that's the default value. If it's not supplied, then it's going to be given an empty string. So since this is the way we're using it, I think we should be fine. We pass in the element and then we pass in the attribute second.
Question.
Yeah.
Well, first you're gonna have to fix that attribute on both of those. But the question I wanted to ask is,
I deleted it from here.
no, I mean the ones that you already using though, you got toggle attribute. You forgot the T again. And the ones that you calling for the MG direction.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Thank
other
you.
one.
Thank you. Yes, you're right. You're
But
right.
the question that I wanted to ask was, if you go back to that function, yeah. Now, if I set the element equal to some default value and the attribute equal to some default value,
Yes.
how would I? No, the element and the attribute to some
Oh.
default value.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you know what I'm about to get into.
How do
How
you
would I?
just do one of these?
Yeah.
Yeah. And whatever you want to pass. I've never seen this done before, and this is actually the first time I'm typing this in here like this. But
I was,
yeah.
but I was gonna say, so like if I set the first two values at a default, at some default,
Yeah.
how would I run the function without passing in the first two values to let the defaults kind of do their thing?
Yeah, you just call it just like that.
But I wanted to pass in a value, let's say. So I wanted to keep the element and the attribute the same at the default value, but I wanted to change the actual value at the end to something, your value variable in this one to something other than blank. So I wanted to change the default of the last value in or the last
Got it.
variable.
So you always have to put the defaults at the end. That's the only restriction. Yeah, you always got to put the defaults at the end.
Maybe
But-
one.
Actually, you can probably no, it's not even letting me do this. I was thinking we can just leave them out. I know sometimes you can do this syntax in different array destructuring. You can just like put commas and just get certain indexes out. And I thought you can probably do it inside of the function, but you can't. These defaults got to be last. It looks like so.
You are calling it before the toggle function, and on top of that, you don't have a default value for them, the element and the attribute. So would that matter?
So I'm glad you brought that up also. So the first thing you said was that I'm calling it before I define it. In JavaScript, now it's not something I went through the course with. In a JavaScript, they have something called hoisting. It's like a term.
Okay.
So what they do is even if something is below it, what it will do is it'll look for it and it'll reference the thing that's below it. So it don't matter which order you put it in. Now, with that being said, you should still call things in order as much as possible because it just reads better that way. But that was a good point you said, and even brought up like I didn't set the default values, and that could have been it, but it looks like it's probably not. Probably not it. So yeah. Let me get rid of all of this. So hoisting is using the function before it's not defined because JavaScript will lift it to the top of the file within itself. So yeah, so that's that. 751. I'm wondering if we can do this quickly. We probably can't. So I gotta put a click event on so hold on, let me open this up. I click this. Let's look at this HTML element. We got to be able to click this to go to the actual game board. It like it has an on click right here. So we just literally just going to do the same thing we did before. Where was it? Show directions. It was here. So memory game start. What we want to do is we want to toggle this on the direction. So we want to remove it. So we'll toggle it. And then we'll also toggle the one on the actual game board. And the game board itself has an ID of MG board. So we'll do that in the code. Put that here. Set it to this and go back to do MG. So we'll reference this inside of here. So we're toggling the directions again to remove it, and then we're going to toggle the game board to show it. And save this. Go back, refresh. And open this up. Start. Did I click it? Okay, element that has attribute is not a function. I messed up somewhere. Oh,
Go back to your util.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah. Okay. So, I actually got to pass in the element, right? Okay. So, cool. So I'm using that here, and I'm just passing the string. I shouldn't be doing that. Let's pass in the actual element document dot get element by ID. There we go. Document dot get element by ID. Cool. And we gotta do that here too. Get element by ID. And here. Document dot get element by ID. Cool. Let's do a refresh. Start. That works, but the directions did not toggle for some reason. Something went wrong here. Now, when I press that button, we do, what was it, MG, show MG directions. We toggle the home screen, and then we toggle the directions. This is interesting. Let me see. Directions are here. MG directions. That's this. Okay. Not sure what's happening.
So I was gonna say highlight all the 19.
Yeah, you said to do what?
You already did it.
Yeah. So this, I passed in a document, and that. Hold on. Let me actually. What was the error? Did it say anything? What was it saying? It was. This is something else.
Yeah, that wasn't in the error.
Let me refresh this, and I'll just. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna hit start. The element is the home screen. Attribute I'm going to check for is no display. We didn't pass in the value. All right, cool. I'm gonna hit play. It removes it. And this element is the directions. No display. Let's see something. I go past here. This says false, that it does not have that. So it should run this element dot set attribute. Element set
But
attribute.
it's setting it to blank.
And wait, hold on. Has it? Wait, this is wrong. If it has it, we're supposed, wait. I'm not sure why the homes, okay, yeah, let me, hold on. That logic looks weird. So if it has it, we want to remove it, yeah. If it don't have it,
You want to set it,
we set it, but why is this saying it
but you
doesn't
don't want to set
have
it to blank.
Oh,
Oh, no, you,
I
yeah, I
got
think you do.
this. I don't know why I have, okay, this is from the course. I should have never, okay. The attribute I want to check for is this, is that one.
There we go.
That's what we want to check for. And that's why the home screen was removed, because we're still using the attribute here, where we actually removed it. Now this is, well, what
Now
else?
your screen ain't gonna work.
Right. This one, no, I'm using it here. I passed it in. Okay, yeah, and of course I told people that I put the thing that says like, yeah, replace this with I was like replace this with attribute. I forgot that was one of the things I had put. So and I never updated in the code. So I need to update that. More of the story. So this should work. This should still work. And everything should still open up. All right, start. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna click this and it should toggle, and now the game board shows. And we at 7:57. Yeah. So we already at time. We'll just pick up on this on Sunday, and we'll try to complete as many as possible. And I mean, honestly, I might just do the same setup where like I just go through it just so that we can just like chug through it. And I'll think of something actually. I'll think of how we're gonna do it. But yeah, we'll pick up on this on Sunday. If there's no questions, I'll see everybody on Sunday. And don't forget to do your code words and go through the course too to get through as many of these as possible. So yeah.
Dude, I'm dying out here. I'm trying my best to figure this I'm still on the same problem.
You didn't throw the function in there? You could just
I
throw
did. It keep timing out. That was the function I had before. It just keeps timing out
Oh.
on me. Yeah. He wants something different, but that's the thing. I don't know. There is little to no other way to do that. There's little to no other way to do that. So I'm drowning out here. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to use some because there's a couple of formulas, right? That kind of work. Then there's another set of formulas that kind of work. Like I said, there isn't enough though, because he's using large, or this person, she maybe is using a large number. So they're using extremely big numbers, like 2 to the 31st power, because they want it to break. Like they want it, if you iterate, they want it to time out. So you have to put in something different. But it say the most trivial solutions may time out. Like, dang.
Yeah. I'm wondering if like you can like try to divide it by something first and to split it up. Like
I was thinking that.
put
So
put
it's
that
a looping all the way up to n, or n divided by 2 will be too slow.
if you so let me share screen. I think this will work. If you before going through
I'm dang near finna just look at the answers.
yeah
And I
before,
ain't never done that.
before this stuff here, before you even get to the loop, what I would do is I would do a few checks first.
Yes, that's what, yeah, I'm doing
Before
that.
this. And I would
Yes.
say I'll probably just do modulus like num mod like 2 through 9. And if any of those return like
Return something, then it's,
the return if it returns like a whole number, maybe you can like if it returns a whole number, then you will just return false or whatever. Like if the modulus was if it equals 0, like numbers 2 through 9, if it equals 0, you just return false right there and then go through this
Right.
logic. I wonder if that'll like weed out some of those large numbers.
and so 25 gets to the crack, 9 gets to the crack. Like, and I'm slow. I'm trying to, so basically it's like a boat that I'm trying to put
Yeah,
together
I mean,
with some bubble gum. you
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
25 wouldn't, because if you did 25 mod 5, it would
Yes.
be 0. You just automatically return 0 from there. I mean, return false from there. Like if you do that's what I'm thinking.
I was thinking of brute forcing it like that, but I tried to be a little more sophisticated. I think I will just have to get dirty with this one though, because this ain't, yeah,
We're just straight. Say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8,
mathematics.
straight. Wait, hold on. Not I.
Yeah, I is, yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Yeah.
You tried something like this?
No.
8, 9, and even do 10. Why not? Just throw 10 in there, and I guarantee this is gonna bypass a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
And I'm sure JavaScript internally like does this in a very efficient way. Like this, it evaluates this part in a very efficient way. So those large numbers, they'll probably be taken care of. It's probably factored in to the way they calculate it.
I think this actually is the one. And I was thinking about doing something like that, but it's just, I like the one line code, but this is one of the ones where I don't think that's possible. I really don't. I think I'm gonna have to like brute force big body this thing.
Yeah, and you can always throw this in the if you wanted to look a little smaller, just throw these inside of an array and just loop through this.
And map through it.
Yeah, for each. You don't want to do the map. You could do map, but you don't want to, because map returns an array. And you don't want to do more than you have to. That's an interview question, by the way. You definitely don't want to do map.
So what is for each return?
Nothing. Doesn't return anything. Yeah, you can use map to still iterate through it, but it's kind of a waste because you're not actually returning anything. You're not capturing a value.
Usually I use map because of, I don't know, because it returns something. So 9 times out of 10, I just throw map in there.
Do you set it equal to something like this?
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I either do that or I would just return it straight.
And you use, yeah, as long as you use the variable that you set it equal to, then that's fine.
But if I ain't using it, then I don't
Yeah,
really need it.
yeah, it's overkill. Now it's not going to hurt, but yeah. What's one of the numbers? Like just throw like number maybe I can just like do one of those, right? and see if this break my
That's automatically gonna happen. Cause it's divisible by 2.
oh right, because I got that 4. Hold on.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Shard 1.
Sure. I'm sorry.
Let's see. See if my stuff freeze.
Yeah, Kevin shared it.
Oh,
And
you
do it
said-
this
oh,
brute force nasty way though.
It didn't break anything.
That's even so funny enough, when I run the for loop, right? When I run the for loop straight, it still doesn't break anything when I run it in a browser. When I run it on here though, like I'm doing it now, I'm running what you gave me,
And it breaks it.
still breaking.
That's interesting.
Because I have a strong feeling what it's doing is it's taking a very large prime number and it's and go to 3. It's taking a very large prime number and it's throwing it in there. Three.
I just go crazy. I feel like this may not even, it lost its color. I don't even know what's going on anymore.
The JavaScript know what's going on anymore either.
It yeah, it don't even, it's my thing. Yeah, it's frozen. It's loading up here. So if I refresh, yeah, my thing is broken. So,
I'm saying it's not finna. Yeah, it's finna do that one.
reached its limit.
I don't know what.
I know numbers can only go to a certain, like there is a max. Like you
2 and I think 2 to the 32nd for some programs, 2 to the 32nd power, whatever.
yeah,
But this
VS
mug still timing out.
Code probably knows like how much to stop at, or whatever. That's probably why I lost the color. Let me see something.
2 and not 5.
So here, let's see. Close that out.
7 and not 7. 7 is prime.
Hey, Sam said he skipped that problem when he saw it.
Yeah, so I wanted to skip it.
Breaks it too.
And I did actually, but I'm trying to clean up all of the problems that I skipped.
Yeah, I went back to a couple and tried them out. Some that I skipped when we first got on Code Wars. Give them another go.
Exactly. So I've been knocking them out. It's just this is prime number 1 that's just like it's jabbing me in the face.
It's jabbing you too easy.
Look, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Ain't that the name?
I'm gonna let y'all go though. Did I already stop it? I don't think I stopped it.
We never stopped recording.
I stopped it? No, I didn't stop it. All right.